on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope you are having a great start to your Sunday morning. Hope you all have had a great weekend. Sorry about the lack of videos. It's kind of a combination of a few things. One being the fact that there's not a lot going on weather-wise. As we continue a cooler than average pattern, it's going to settle in more as we get into next week. Number two, I've had a wedding stuff that's been going on this weekend. In fact, I got a wedding to go to here in the next several hours. And three, last night, I don't know if anybody saw my post in the community tab, we had car issues, but it turns out it's like the worst case scenario, and it looks like our engine is pretty much shot. The engine's rocking, it sounds like it threw a rod or something. So, yeah, that's going to be a challenge for me and my family. So I definitely ask for any prayers on that. And obviously, if y'all got any prayers I can take care of for y'all, I would love the opportunity to pray for y'all. But it is definitely about to be some tense financial times for me and my family. But God provides, and I know it's going to be all right. It's hard not to stress with things like this anyways. But I'm going to try to practice what I preach, which is to have faith and to know that everything will be okay. And I'm just going to believe in that, and I know that eventually everything will get figured out. So definitely prayers to find the best options to buy a car this week, because we're probably just going to buy a car. The car already has well over 100,000 miles on it, so we're going to see what our options is. But enough about that. Let's get going with the weather. Like I said, there's not a ton to talk about. If you guys have not subscribed, it's much appreciated if y'all do. Y'all support is amazing, and thank y'all for continuing that support as we get going. So this is the GFS, and as we're getting going in time here, we're starting off tomorrow. So check out this system. Along this cold front, there's going to be moisture, and there's actually going to be snow all the way down to potentially parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, a little stripe of snow. And the temperatures will be just marginal enough for some of this to fall as heavy snow. But then the low pressure gets going, it strengthens, and then now it's wanting, and it wasn't showing this a few days ago, but now it's wanting to get places like even Kentucky, West Virginia, huge chunk of Ohio. And this is the GFS operational run. That's all it is. That's all we're looking at right here, right now. But turns around and gives places like Buffalo like a little mini late season snowstorm, and more snow for the interior Northeast. You get going through in time, get into the weekend, and let me tell you, it is dry in a lot of areas of the Southeast. And like I said, my area has not even gotten 1/10 of an inch of rain. And this month, I mean, it's already, April 18th? And I've gotten 7/100ths of an inch. That's 0.01. And it just sucks not having like a lot of rain around this time of year, because stuff's trying to bloom and things like that. And to me, it seems like it stunts the process a little bit of spring, you know. Just have not had any April showers at all. It has just been quiet. Not a lot going on except for that system that happened a little over a week ago. But it looks to remain quiet, honestly, obviously, until you get to maybe the last, maybe next weekend. There's a system we can watch here. But what happens with this is up in the air. There's potential for some severe weather, especially as we get into late month, but it's still up in the air. I know the GFS is wanting to dig another trough down here, basically center high pressure just north of the Southeast, and really deliver more cold air for the Northeast. So I don't know. I do think a pattern change is going to come towards the end of the month. But I think most of the rest of the month is going to stay cooler than average. Now, if you're like in the Carolinas and Georgia, it's not much cooler than the average. What I'm meaning is it's not super uncomfortable as far as like it's cold. But check out the GFS as far as temperatures. You can see the cold front dipping down. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know where this cold front is. This is a pretty sharp cold front too. The GFS is wanting to pump out some snow right here, when, you know, several miles down the road it's in the 60s and 70s. I say several miles, really, you know, a couple hundred miles southeast it's in the 60s and 70s. So very sharp gradient cold front. This is basically going to reinforce. It's going to warm up a little bit for areas of deep south and southeast in the coming days as we get into the weekend. But then another cold front is going to sweep through and kind of reinforce the air. I tell you, areas of the mountains can see freezes. And it's going to flirt with a frost here in late April. If we're going off the GFS, I think this is going to moderate. I don't think it's going to be quite as cold as advertised, but this is going to make for a chilly few days for the entire eastern U.S. to round off the week, and we get into the weekend, and temperatures will begin to rebound a little bit, but it's still going to be very chilly as another reinforcing trough comes down next weekend and delivers freezes and frost for the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. I mean, we're getting close to May now. So temperatures begin to rebound big time, and in fact, this is when you kind of have to watch the severe weather threat, and I'll show you what I mean here. But and then you kind of get into more of a better pattern for more spring weather again. But this is temp anomalies. This is temperatures compared to the average, and you really get a good idea where the below average temperatures is. Places like Dallas could break some record lows for this for sure. It's going to get cold. But as this one comes, here comes another reinforcing blast of cold air. And here it comes for this week, and it is definitely going to be, this is all the way through April 26th, colder than average temperatures. Takes all the way until about midway next week before temperatures start to get above average again. And even then, I mean, it's not really a well above average, and this is pretty far out. So you look at the European, showing that stripe of snow coming through with this front here in the next 48 hours, moves through, creates a nice little low pressure, delivers some inland snow for the Northeast. Going through in time here, you got to watch this little setup right here next weekend. That might trend to more of a severe weather threat, but even then, I'm not sold on it. You look at dew points, and this is what I want to show you. Obviously, the dew points in the 40s and 30s and teens and 20s, that's stable air. That's super dry air. And look, I mean, that is dry air over the entire lower 48, except maybe Miami. When you have dew points this low, you're not going to get severe weather. But check out this little pulse up in higher dew points into the 60s and 70s. And then it moves on into the southeast. And so that might have some severe weather. That's a nice little signal for maybe something right here, brief. But then the cold air comes in behind it, and then it gets colder again, and it just doesn't linger. You look at Cape, and there's just nothing. You got to go out in the ocean to get any storm energy. And that's just because you have troughs digging and pushing it out. But then you get into the weekend, you got to watch this. So you get Cape valleys beginning to build across the south central U.S., and then they move a little bit into the southeast. So that's what I'm saying. Next weekend might be severe weather threat. We'll have to watch that and see what happens, and then it moves on out. Might build again towards the end of the run. So the European is definitely signifying it's going to get active again. Look at the European as far as temperatures. Same deal. I mean, it's basically the same thing as the GFS. But check out this sharp front Tuesday evening, making its way through the country. Beautiful weather here in the southeast and deep south, but then this moves through and it's just going to be a little nippy. Beautiful skies. I mean, it's not going to be any rain. It's just going to be cold, and for late April standards. But temperatures begin to rebound, but you got this trough that's just wanting to dig across the eastern U.S., and it is just very depressing. We need to get this cold air out of here. I'm good with I'm good with temperatures in the 40s and 60s in late April. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest with you. In March that's okay, but you start looking towards the end of the European run, and I mean, it starts to blazing across the eastern U.S., especially the Midwest, the South Central U.S., the Deep South, and yeah. So that's all I got, guys. I might have an update tonight. If anything flashes on the models that's worth talking about. But sorry about the low energy this video, guys. It is just I'm trying to keep an upbeat spirit. It is definitely not fun times right now, but it'll be okay, and I believe in that. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for y'all's prayers, and y'all have a great Sunday.